Expect mamas and mamas to be. I am Alex, and today we are going to do a deep dive into the contracting and releasing of your pelvic floor. Let me introduce you to my ladies in studio. To my left, we have Harjeet. She is 9 months postpartum with her first little one. And to my right, we have Lana, and she is in her third trimester with her first little nugget. I personally am 6 months, almost 7 months postpartum with my little guy, and I'm excited. So, pelvic floor, right? What is it? It is the base layer of our core, right? Our core stabilizes our whole body. Our pelvic floor stabilizes specifically our hips and our pelvis, as well as it stops us from peeing ourselves, to be quite frank, yes, and the number twoing ourselves as well, yes, so it is responsible for holding those muscles tight. It is also responsible for sexual pleasure, and when a baby comes, it is responsible for releasing but also staying strong, which is like such a catch-22, and it's so confusing. So we're going to talk more about that today. We're going to be laying on the floor, we're going to be having our hips in a bridge, and we're also going to be in a quadruped position on all fours, going through 4 basic patterns, right? We're going to have a long hold with our pelvic floor contraction, a quick squeeze, which we'll dive more into this, I promise, and then we're going to do a combo of those two, as well as a little step pattern, up the ladder and back down the ladder, or up the steps and back down the steps. Now, what I want you to think of through all of this, visualization-wise, I want you to think like your pelvic floor is like flower petals, right? Or like a hammock being held from underneath at the very base layer of our pubic bone or pelvis. It is being held gently up. When you contract, I want you to not think about like engaging and like squeezing tight everything. I don't want anything to feel like intense about this. I want it to feel very gentle and very easy. A lot of it is just visually putting our brain into the base layer of our belly and really lifting those muscles up mentally and then releasing them mentally, right? If we think like physically and clenching our glutes and our abs and tucking our bellies, it's not gonna happen. It's not about sucking your belly in. It's about, again, this gentle lift up, thinking about like a hammock pulling up from underneath you, or like I like to say, like an elevator lifting up from the bottom and then going right back down. An elevator lifting from the baseline and coming right back down. I'll give you a bunch of different visual cues as we go, but that's what I want you to think of. Sometimes like lifting a blueberry into your center and then releasing the blueberry out is also great. Let's lay down onto our backs, going always safely from our side onto our backs. We are first starting on our backs completely with our feet just planted, knees bent to the sky. Nice, gentle. You should be able to just like rock side to side. There's no held tension here. Our glutes, like feel your butt muscles, make sure they are not engaged. We were talking about this before, that a lot of times we think like, oh, I have to squeeze my abs, so I have to like suck in and squeeze my butt really tight. We do not want to do that. That will cause you to have a hypertonic or an overactive pelvic floor. So we really want to like release those butt cheeks, and we want to release that like clenching in our abs, and we want to think again of that elevator up. Just start visualizing with me, elevator lifting up into the center line of the body, and then elevator releasing all the way down. Think like you're pulling that elevator or that blueberry up toward your belly button, and then releasing that blueberry all the way back down to the floor underneath you. All the way up. If you feel comfortable, you can go ahead and like even place your hand on your pelvic floor, which is like basically on your groin and on your perineum, yeah, like in between your no-no bits, right? All the way up and down, your vagina and your anus. Let's be politically correct about that, yes. All the way in and all the way back down. You can feel it lift, right? So you can feel like a tensing of those muscles coming up, even though it's internal, and then back away. So although I can't visually see you doing this, you should be able to feel internally and even a little pull away from your own hand, up and right back down, yes? Place those hands wherever you'd like. We're lifting that elevator up. You're gonna hold it at the top of the elevator for 10 counts. Keep breathing in and out of your nose. I don't want you to hold on to that breath ever, especially if you're pregnant currently. And then after you count to 10 in your head, you just release that contraction. Keep breathing normally. We're gonna do that a few more times. Inhale, elevator up, pull that blueberry all the way up, whatever visual helps you, into that midline. And then hold it for 10 counts. Keep breathing normally and naturally. Don't over-exaggerate that breath. And let it go right back out. Release the pelvic floor contraction. And let's get a couple more in there. Pull that elevator up. Again, if it's helping you to press your hand into that mid-body, it really will help you like pull the pressure away from your hand and then release the pressure back into your hand after that 10 count. One more time. Pull all the way in and up. Hold it. and right back down, all the way away from you. Good. Now we are going to do a quick squeeze. So we are going to pull that elevator all the way up, right? Or those rose petals all the way up and in. And once they're up and in, we are going to release and contract as fast as we can. Release, contract for 10 reps, yes? So again, you won't be able to visually see it, but you might see a little action in your lower belly or feel a little action, but it is very much internal. I like to think about like, visualize as if you are pulling something inside of you and then you are trying to push it back away and pull it back in. Push it back away out of you and pull it back in, right? So we're gonna go for those 10 quick pulses in 3, 2, 1, elevator up, pull it, and then elevator down and up and down and up and down and up. 10 of those, gentle, don't over squeeze those glutes. Good, if you're not there yet, we've got 3, 2, 1, release, good, shake it out. Don't think about it too much, we're gonna do that 2 more times. Elevator up, contract that pelvic floor. Think about that squeeze of that blueberry, of that flower petal, and then you release. Release it, pull it in, release it, pull it in, release it, pull it in. It should be very small, but this visual I'm making with my hand, a little release, a little pull. It should feel like this inside of you. Yes, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. Nice work. We are gonna do a combo of those two. We are gonna contract, hold for a count of 10, and then once we hit that count of 10, we are gonna do 10 contract and releases, and then we're gonna fully release at the end of those 10 contractions. All right, I'm gonna put a timer on for about like 45 seconds, and I want you to do 2 sets of that, contracting, holding for 10, and then in and out for a count of 10. All right, I'll guide you through them. Let's contract all the way up into that pelvic floor, loose glutes. Always check that you're not clenching any of those muscles in your abdomen or your butt. Here we go, we hold that count for 10. If you lost count, I'm on 5. Come with me in 6, 7, 8. Now we start for a count of 10. Release, contract, release, contract, release, contract. If it helps you visually and with your body to go and have a little sound connected to that pelvic floor contraction, that is totally an option. Good. Now fully release that contraction once you hit those 10 in and outs. Good. Again, big contraction in. Hold that contraction while breathing normally in and out for 10 counts. And after that contraction, we go in and out. Contract, release, contract, release. Good. 3, 2, 1. If you're not there, get there. Good. Shake those legs out. Let's do one more just like that. Big inhale, combo all the way up. We hold that lift while we breathe normally. Visually put your brain into that pelvic floor. Hold on to that blueberry. Then release 10. I want you to think of spitting the blueberry out and pulling it right back in. 3, 2, 1, go. Push, pull, push, pull. In, out, in, out. If you see anything, it should be very slight from the base of your pelvis, but nothing crazy. No tucking of the pelvis, no shifting of those hips, no clenching of those glutes. In 3, 2, and 1. Very, very nice. You might be like, what is she talking about? I feel nothing. And that is okay. We are going to keep talking about this. I will give you more visual aids to help you, but really just think of relaxing as much as possible. The more we hold on to the improper muscles, the harder it's going to be to find the internal muscles, right? We are doing all the things we just talked about in a bridge position now. We're also going to add a step position into this, right? So let's lift those hips. We're going to do a couple quick rounds. The glutes are slightly engaged now, but still not over clenched, right? So they should have a little bit of muscular contraction, but they shouldn't be tucked tight, no sucking into that belly, none of that. We should just have a nice gentle lift of those glutes since we are pressing our feet into the floor. Inhale, exhale, lift, contract that pelvic floor, zip up the front of that body, hold tight, keep breathing. We hold for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and release. Good job. Put those hips back down. We do it again. Lift those hips up. Gentle contraction of those glutes. We lift elevator up in that pelvic floor. Think of pulling the lowest part of your pelvis all the way up to your belly button. Hold it. Keep breathing. If you can talk, it means you're breathing. So talk to yourself. 3, 2, 1, all the way down. I talk to myself all the time now that I have a baby. I just feel like I'm constantly talking to myself. Lift those hips up and we hold. Last one. Pull up, elevator up, engage. Pull that blueberry into the belly button. Hold, breathe. In 3, 2, 1, let it go and put those hips back down. Good. We are going to do that quick flick. So we lift up. We hold that contraction, and then we release it fast and slow for 10. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, engage, release, engage, release, engage, release. Connect that breath. You can hear Alana behind me doing a little that might help you connect to that base of your pelvic floor. Keep going, visualize it, release and engage, release and engage. 3, 2, 1. Very good. Put those hips down, shake it out. We're gonna do that one more time. Lift those hips up. Gentle engagement of those glutes, don't over engage. Here we go. 3, 2, elevator up. Quick flick, out and in. Again, release the blueberry, pull it back in. Release the blueberry, put it back in. Please feel free. I know it's like a little bit like we're shy sometimes, but seriously, feel free to put your fingertips on there. You can feel a pull and a release, a pull and a release in your pelvic floor from the outside. You'll feel a little bit of internal action, yeah? 3, 2, 1, good. Put those hips back down. Now we are gonna do a little step up, right? We are going to go up, hold 50% with a 50% contraction. Then we're gonna finish the contraction all the way and hold it there for 3 to 4 counts. Then we're gonna drop back down to that 50% step and then all the way down. So in that bridge, we are going to contract 50%. So elevator to floor 2 of 4, right? We are lifting, if it's 4 floors of that building, we're lifting to the 2nd floor. We are gonna hold it there and breathe for 2 to 3 counts. And then we're contracting, the elevator goes all the way up to that belly button. We go up and down, the belly button is floor 4, yes. On that arbitrary 4th floor. 3, 2, 1, we release it halfway. Breathe here for a couple counts. And then we release all the way. Push that blueberry all the way out. Put those hips back down. Very good. We lift those hips as gently as we like, only as high as we feel comfortable in our belly and our lower backs. Slight engagement of those glutes. Again, big inhale, halfway. Lift that contraction. Feel like you're lifting it to the 2nd floor. Breathe here for a couple of reps. And then we lift all the way up. Pull the rest of that contraction all the way up and in. All the way down to that 2nd floor. Inhale, exhale, and release all the way with that pelvic floor. Push that blueberry out and put those hips down. Good. Now, another slightly more intense visual, right, is that like there is something physically, if this is my pelvic floor, you are squeezing something internally, right? And as you are squeezing, you contracting, you are pulling that object into you further and then releasing it out of you. Yes, that can sometimes help us visually, like, oh, you're scooping something inside of you, and then you are releasing it out away from you. Yes, we're gonna do one more set, but we're gonna do everything in a quadruped. So we're gonna flip over, we're gonna make our way onto our hands and knees, right? All the way onto our hands and knees. Last thing right here, we're gonna go right into that quick flick, right? So we are going into this quadruped, toes tucked under or pointed away from you. You are pulling. There's gravity coming down on us now, so you might feel it more, but it's also gonna feel a little more challenging to engage because we have more muscles active. So you are contracting, elevator up, internally pull that object inside you, hold it, and then in and out for 10 quick releases. Go. Release, engage, release, engage, release, engage, release, engage. Again, lower abdomen might be active because it is very much connected to that pelvic floor, but we shouldn't have any undulation of those hips. In 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Very good. Sit back in that child's pose for a second. Shake it out. Good. We're gonna go into that hold with a quick flick. So we're just gonna do a couple sets here. You're gonna take a big inhale. You're gonna contract, pull that pelvic floor up, hold it all the way at the top, 10 counts. And then when I tell you, you're gonna give me 10 contract and release. In 3, 2, 1, contract, release, contract, release, contract, release, contract, release. You might visually see a little bit of the abdomen moving in the bottom, but it should feel very internal. Squeeze that object, release that object, squeeze that object, release that object. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Very good. All the way down. Now we're gonna do our last set in that step, yes? 50% contraction, hold it for 3 to 4 counts. 100% contraction, hold it for 3 to 4 counts. Here we go, up the steps, climb the stairs. 50% goes in 3, 2, 1. We lift, hold for 50%. Inhales, exhales, normally do not hold that breath. And then we contract all the way up 100%. Feel like you're zipping up a corset up the front of your body a little bit. And then release 50%. Couple breaths here, and then release all the way down. Push that blueberry out. Good. Scoop that blueberry in halfway. Breathe here. Really concentrate mentally on those internal muscles. And the rest of the way, all the way up. and release 50%. And release that object all the way. Good job. Give those hips a shimmy shake. Very good. Sit back on those feet. Give your arms a little shoulder roll back. Friends, I know that more than physically, this is like mentally exhausting practice because it is so challenging to connect to our pelvic floor. It is one of the hardest things to do, to be quite honest. Yes, so please just keep coming back, read more about it, keep coming back and listening to our cueing, connect to your brain and your body more, and just keep moving. The more you know, the better off you'll be. Yes, thank you so much for joining us. I will see you next time. Happy pelvic floor learning.